What's up, friends? Welcome to the next lesson where we'll be talking about how to create these amazing prototyping style landing pages like Google, Apple. Today you will learn how to do that. First of all, let me switch to this view and let's take a look not at these guys and not at this one, but at these two pages. The first one is iPhone 12 Pro. As you can see, like when we are scrolling, everything is moving. I'll close this one. Everything is moving. Text reveals, everything. I showed you these pages in the first module, in the very first section about basics of motion UI design. So you scroll and something is happening. We see this scroll jacking effect and we see this some other stuff moving while we are scrolling. But also I showed you another page like this one, and on this page, as you can see, when I scroll, this circle appears on the background, then everything is moving, then in the end we have just regular scroll, and then we have this video that appears on the screen. How to create that? Is it possible with Figma? No. Is it possible with Principle? Absolutely. Let me show you how to do that. First of all, of course, you need to have a page. So that's why we have this page here. It was based on one of the UI kits, but also I updated it. I added some more sections to show you what is possible to do in Principle, and you will see that, oh my God, so many opportunities. Let me show you the page first. This is the page that we will we will actually animate this. So we have this page with different sections and basically just, okay, it's landing page. Well, right, what's happening here? I'll explain you a little bit later. So then we have this section, then this one. What is that? What is it? Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the landing page actually. Of course, the section can have the text and images that you want to have it. And of course, UX is the most important, then UI, then when you finalized all your thoughts, then you start creating motion design, motion boards. And on this website, what I want to animate, when I create landing pages or the full websites, I always think if I can improve the user experience with motion design. And I'm thinking how actually it will look like when I will do that. So the first section that I see here, what I want to do is actually, I want to animate these images here on the right side. So we have previous, next, and then we have this section. And I want to switch these images. How to do that, we will see in Principle. Then I want to have some kind of animation that invites me into this section. Invites means that I have this image and I want this to be big, and then when I scroll down it becomes smaller. This is what my thoughts are about this particular section. Then we have just text and then 4 different steps. I want to reveal these steps one by one. So when I'm scrolling, first will appear, the second, third, the fourth, one by one. Then the next section, I want to have some animations to make these photos live. So I'm not scrolling down and see these photos. I want them to be live on this section. And I'll show you how to do that. Then I want to attract more attention for people to click on this button. And this is, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'm thinking about hover. When I hover on this button, I want it to be bigger. And then when I'm not hovering this button, it will be smaller. For this one, I'll show you all the steps. Then this section, and we will actually start with this one. So we have button. I created that. Okay, we have more button. All right, and we have this circle that becomes bigger and smaller. But for this one, what I want to have, I want this button to be independent from this frame. So I will convert this frame into group. So now I know that when I make this circle bigger, the group becomes bigger. So I don't need to create this clipping mask or anything here because I just want it to be bigger when I hover on this button. Then in the next section, I understand that I will need to show more than one testimonials. If it will be just one, okay, I'm not going to animate that. But if it will be more than one, then I will add all these testimonials. So I have quote user 1, quote 2, user 2. And here I can hide this user 1 and 2. And you will see that I basically just have 2 quotes from 2 different people. And I want, when I click on these arrows, I want them to switch. So that's why I have both of them here. But why do they have different positions? Because I want the second quote to come to the position of the first one, while the first one will go away from here into this position and will disappear. This is my goal for this section. So that's why I have 2 sections here with quotes and users. And we will start somewhere from here maybe. Okay, then I'm not going to animate anything with this one. Then on this one, on this section, I want to animate this image. I want it to appear from the outside and will rotate, while the text will stay absolutely the same. And then probably I'm going to, make like this. You will get this file right under this video. You will see the file, so you will be able to download it, open on your computer, and follow all the steps that I'm giving you while we will be working in Principle. Also, you can go through this file and see what elements we have here and how they appear on Principle. So also on this button, when I hover on this one, I want this triangle to move away and another one will appear. Probably you saw this effect when you hover on the button and the triangle moves away and another one appears. Like it reveals, it attracts your attention and also it pushes you to click on this button. So I want to create this section, this animation here as well. The next section, you're thinking like, well, it's phone, okay, anything else? Actually, yes. Here I have text. I have text that is hidden behind this mask. If I'll change the color of this mask to something else, this is what we'll have. But how I created this mask, first of all. So I just created a rectangle. I made it black, but in this case, to show you how it actually was done, I will use another color. Then I will go here and I will move these guys to this side. Then I go to effects, layer blur. I make the blur bigger like this one, done. Then I will just change this color to 000 and this is my mask that will go somewhere on top of this one. This is how to create these masks, and we need that because I want to show you how Apple created that effect here. And for this one, like too small. Yeah, this one is perfect. Black. And also this phone will move up. This is what I'm going to animate. And when this moves up, you see that now it's below the text. I want it to be above the text here. Right, so we will show that the phone is on top of the text. This is also important because we want to create everything like everything so cool and smooth and amazing. So the next section, I want to animate this circle that will become bigger, but at the same time, actually I'll move it up somewhere here. But at the same time, what I'm going to do is we have 2 Apple Watches here. I'm going to take these 2 guys to put them on the same position, and during the animation, what we will do, we will rotate them, move their position a little bit, and at the same time we'll start it. We will start scaling up the circle behind them. And then here, this is just an image. but we will convert. I'll show you how to work with videos in Principle, because videos is one of the most powerful features on Principle. Not only this one, but also you'll see that it's super powerful, but with videos, it's just crazy. So we will recreate the effect that Google has. So when this line moves to the very middle of the section and then it becomes bigger, and then you see that it's a video. We will create that. And then just the final one, I'll show you that while scrolling the entire section, you can also scroll separately these items. They will scroll separately from the scroll that you are doing. It will be cool. Let's get started. How to do that? So we created this landing page. We have it. We have all the items that we need. If we'll take a look at this section, for example, I want to have this here 3 images. That's why I have this line that is third of this huge line. And actually, to make it really third, it should be 451. Boom, 450. Yep, like this one. Perfect. So now when the next image will come into place, this one will move to this position, and instead of this image, I will see the next one, which is behind this one. So that's why in this section, I have 3 images. And actually, let's do this trick. Because all of them have the same name, I want to change this name. Because, as you remember, in Principle or with any animation, it's better to have unique names for all the elements in one artboard. So that's why what we're gonna do is I selected all 3 these items. I click Command R or Control R. Actually, Command R, because if you're working with Principle, so probably you have Mac, and that's why Command R. Then I click Current Name, and in addition to that, I'm going to add header, one more, and number. Rename. So now you see that all these files renamed to image header 01, 02, 03. Perfect. Now we have everything set up. Landing page. Now we go to Principle, and in Principle we click Import. We choose to XX. We want to have good quality, but at the same time not the huge file, because it will be easier for us to work with this one and it will work much faster. So I click Import Selected Frames. It takes 175 images. It will take time, about 1 minute probably. So that's what we can do now, is to go back and see what other animations we have here. So we scroll down. One of the animations is these waves, and I already showed you how to create these waves. We will be able to import them yourself if you want to have them anywhere. And one more amazing feature, not feature, but animation that they have here, as you can see, boom, boom. So the image appears and then the mask, one more layer, and then only after that the image revealed. And when I do it again, this is what's happening. Looks pretty cool. How to create that, we will see. As for now, we know that we want to do that. How to do that, we'll see. Let's go back to Principle, and here we have our landing page. The landing page is in Principle. What we need to do to make this page scrollable? First of all, because you can see this is our preview and this is what we have. This is our full page. We can't scroll that. To do that, even if we change the size of the entire website, like artboard, to 900, for example, it becomes smaller, perfect, but we still can't scroll that. And actually, if you don't see the entire, the rest of the page, click here, clip sublayers. Boom, and now you see everything here, but not in the preview mode. But we can't scroll. Why? If you remember in the previous lesson, I explained you that we will need to combine everything into group, and we will call it scroll. It can be vertical scroll, horizontal scroll. Actually, I'll show you in the bonus video, I'll show you how to create super parallax effect where images are moving separately from the text and the background. And also I'll show you how to create websites with a horizontal parallax effect. If you've ever seen like 2 years or 3 years ago on Apple website when they presented new iPad, they have horizontal scroll only. How to create this effect in principle I'll show you here as well, but let's get back to our vertical scrolling and the scroll jacking effect. So we have scroll. When we grouped everything into one group, principle allows you here to select horizontal. What horizontal? Static, vertical, static. But when you click on this drop down, you will see that it can be drag, scroll, and page. We'll be talking about drag and page when we will go to mobile apps prototyping, but here we just need scroll. And we can also choose for scroll for horizontal, but this is just horizontal, not horizontal, vertical scrolling website. So that's why we choose only scroll vertical. Clip sublayers. No, we don't want to have that. But now when we selected that, this group is still, the height of it is really huge here. Follow all the steps. Everything that I'm saying here, try to repeat, because it's really important to remember each of these small things that can ruin your first experience with Principle. Maybe even if it's not first, but you see this particular animation prototyping type for the very first time, it will be super valuable for you to follow all these small things. So we imported the page to Principle. Then we changed the size of our frame, of our artboard, to the size we need. Then we combined all the elements that we have on the page into one group. We could do that in Figma, but if you didn't do that, just combine them here into group. Once you combine everything into group, select vertical scroll. Once it's done, choose the size of this group so the text will be scrollable. How it works here. So we have group, and the size of it is the full size of your landing page. So that's why Principle doesn't understand that the scrollable area already has all the content that it needs to have. So it means that nothing to scroll. There is no place to scroll. So that's why when you change this height to the size of your screen, like this one, you see it here. Now you can scroll. So now this is scrollable because it understands that the entire landing page, all the content that inside of this group is bigger than the size of the group. So that's why now we can scroll. And as you can see, everything is here the same as in Figma. So we just can scroll, which is already cool. Because we can show to the client that, you know what, it's not just an image, it's a real website. You can scroll here. Perfect. So now what we gonna do? We're gonna animate all these elements. And how to do that? We will go to one of the very important sections of the Principle, drivers. When we click to drivers, we see here scroll Y. Why do we have only scroll Y? Because we set vertical scroll. If I click here, scroll horizontally, you will have additional driver, scroll X. What does it mean? It means that while you scroll, while scrolling, you can animate something. So when I select just anything here, as you can see, the name here is changing as well. And once it's selected, I can click here, and these are all the parameters that I can animate while scrolling. What does it mean while scrolling? If you will start dragging this element, as you can see here in the artboard, you see that it's changing, it's scrolling, it's actually scrolling. Let's do the very first thing. I don't know, it will be, let's fix the position of our navigation. So navigation, we are in the 0 position. 0 position is the very top position of your entire website. if we'll scroll back here into the negative parameters, you will see that the page going away. Sometimes it's useful, but in this case, it's not for landing pages. So that's why we are keeping here this element on 0, on position 0. Now click here, center Y, because we want to keep the Y position of the navigation always at the top. It will be always at the top, no matter what. Center Y till the very end of the page. We can zoom out here, so it will be faster for you to decide where the end of the page, somewhere here, center Y. We click here again. It's like you are creating keyframes here. The keyframe 1 was here. And it says that for navigation, position Y is 0, 0. But because in principle it works like center Y, it takes the center of this box. So then when we're here, somewhere in the end of the page, this one is selected. We set the keyframe here. So it creates the line, it creates the connection between the first position and the last position in the scroll. And then we click this button, so we will push our navigation to the top of the page. I clicked on that and now it's here. As you can see, it appeared here. Now when I scroll, you see this jump, small jump here. It means that we are not in the very, not in the very end of the position. So to reach the very end of the landing page, we'll zoom in and we'll go to here. Now we can scroll actually and drag this keyframe to this position. Now we don't have this jump for the navigation. This lesson will be pretty long because we will animate a lot of things. Just follow step by step. So now, as you can see, when I'm scrolling, the navigation is fixed at the very top. In Figma, it's a little bit easier to create that because you will just set fixed position and that's it. And that's awesome. Of course, that you can do this in Figma if you want to show just a static website. But if you want to create a really like interactive prototype, then this is what you can do here. Now, the next thing, what I'm going to do is we will go step by step. This is where we're using drivers, right? The next thing, we will go here, zoom out, go to the very first position, zoom in, perfect. Show preview. If it disappeared, show preview. It's not fixed now. If you want to fix that, click close, preview, and it will set to the fixed position. Now, what I want to do here, actually, I want to animate this element that it will change, the image will be changed. And I want to create hover effect for these buttons here. But we will do that a little bit later because it's a little bit different type of animations. So that's why, first of all, let's play a little bit more with this scrolling, with these drivers here at the top. So we scroll again. So now we see that the next section appears here. And for the next section, it's called section 2. It's section 2, and inside of it we have image. And I want this section 2 to be the mask for the image inside of this group, of this section 2. So that's why I click clip sublayers here. This is how masks are working in principle. It's a little bit different from Figma, Photoshop, or Adobe XD, or just anything. Here, the group is the only way to create a mask. So the group and everything that inside of this group can be clipped, can be masked by the size of the group. What does it mean? So I click clip sublayers here, and now if I'll decide to change the size of this group, as you can see, everything is masked Everything that is inside of this group is masked. But why it's cool? Because in this case, I can select this image and I can set scale. Actually here, the image selected, I will click here, scale. I click on this item. So once I reveal the page, this section somewhere here, so this section will appear soon in our view. It will appear soon here. So I want to grab this item from here. I selected scale, and for scale, as a state A for the scale, I will double it. So now the image is really huge, but it's still inside of our group. So that's why we don't see it on top of these other sections. So we have this image scale here as 2. This is our state A, scale 2. Then when we scroll, once I reached this position somewhere here, I want this image to be scale 1. So I change the scale to 1. And it automatically creates this line here, state B. State A, scale 2. State B, scale 1. What's happening now with our website? I'm scrolling. We have fixed position for this element. I'm scrolling down, and the image, as you can see, it becomes smaller, and then it sets on this position. How it works? So when we are here, scale 2, while we're scrolling, the scale is changing. As you can see here, it's 188, 169, and so on and so forth. Moreover, somewhere here in the middle, you can decide that actually I want you to be still big here. And this is where you create additional state B. So this will be state A, state B. Now this is state A, and this one is state B. So now it's still huge at this position. It will change just a little bit till this point, and only after this position, only once we reach this position, it will start becoming smaller. And as you can see, it creates really cool live effects. So now our website is live. It's not just an image, so we can scroll. Oh, okay. Now it's live. So boom, this section appeared. Cool. So we worked with scale in our drivers. Now let's go. You can see also here how it works. Let me make this one smaller. So now when we go to the next section, this text will be the same. I want it to be the same. Everything is okay. But now I started seeing these steps that we have inside. And for these all steps, what I want to do, I want to select all of them. Yes, you can select all the elements, and you will see 4 selected layers. I select them one by one by holding Shift. While on this position, actually not on this, but somewhere here, I will click Center Y. 2 things that I want to do with these steps. The first one is I'm going to move them up, and also I want to change the opacity from 0 to 1, so they will appear on the screen. So that's why I'm clicking Center Y. But in addition to that, why these 4 elements are selected, I click opacity. Boom, I created all these items here. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do, because this is already my desired state, this is ideal state, this is what I want to achieve. So I want this to be my state B. So that's why I need to change my state A, right? So that's why what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all these guys, and I'm going to move them somewhere when I'll see them, yeah, on this position. So they already appeared on the screen, and I want to see them all here. But before they appeared, I moved just the cursor from here to the position where they will start appearing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all these guys again. Toom, toom, toom. And for all of them, I'll set opacity to 0. See, we created this connection state A. We created state A for all these elements because state B we already set up when we created the landing page itself. But also I want to move them. This is our state B, but state A I want it to be lower, so it will appear. It will go up. So I move all these items down. So they're selected, right? What's happening here? They are all selected, and I move them down somewhere here. Perfect. I move them down. So now when I scroll, they appear and move to their position. But also, I don't want them to move together because it doesn't make sense. Otherwise, I would just group them together into one group and we'll create animation for just the group. Here, I created this intentionally because now I want to select just this second item, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Here they. And now I want to move these guys a little bit. I want this animation to start a little bit later. So here was our 1500 pixels. I want somewhere from here 100, maybe 1600. I want the next one start animating. No, actually 150. It will be okay, 150. Perfect. So it means that all other items will start appearing a little bit later. When my position during the scroll will be here, the first step will start appearing. When my position is here, the second one. But I said the second one because we're gonna do the same thing with all these items. So now it will 100. Yep. 1800. And then for the next one, 100. 1950. This is where we'll start our animation for the fourth step. This is how we created these lines, these steps, and now when we are scrolling, they appear one by one. Let's take a look at the real example. Let's move it somewhere top, move it here, and now when I'm scrolling this page, they appear one by one, and boom, appeared. But as you can see, in my opinion, it's a little bit too late. So when I'm here, I want to see all the items already on the screen. So that's why we'll start animating them a little bit earlier. We will move this here. Show preview. So now when I'm scrolling, boom, boom, boom. Still too late. Move them a little bit earlier. Perfect. Show preview. Ideal. So this is where I want to see all these items on the screen. So here they just started appearing, and boom, now they're all here. In my opinion, it's still a little bit too late, but to do that, what I would do, holding shift, you can select these keyframes. I would move all the items together, all these states, to animate it a little bit faster. So now when I go here, I'm scrolling down and all these items appear on the screen. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. Boom. So what we created, we already created fixed position for navigation. We showed how to use scale. We also know how to use position and opacity for these elements. What's next? We can also animate scale for these images. And this is exactly what my intention was. So that's why what we're gonna do, we're gonna select all these items, but not all of them. Actually, we need to select them one by one and group them. We should add them into the group because we're gonna mask them first, and then we will create absolutely the same animation we have for the section 2. So group, 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 this one, this one, this one. Done. Now we select all the groups here and click Clip Sublayers. Now these are our masks. Now what we're gonna do is when we are scrolling and when these images will start appearing somewhere from here, perfect. We will select all the images inside by holding Command. You select the item inside of the group. You will select the item itself, similar to Sketch and Figma. So now I'm going to change the scale to 2. Images are big, right? And we are already in the right position. For all these images, we'll set scale. Done. Sometimes you can start from state A, sometimes you can start with state B. It depends on how you structure your work. For me, it depends on, sometimes it depends on the situation. In this case, for me, it was easier to set the scale to 2 first. And in some cases, it's much easier for me to start working with state B. It's like ideal, my final state. And then I will create state A for this to animate. So now, once I revealed the image here, so this cursor here at the top, this is just showing me how many pixels I already scrolled. So when I scrolled these many pixels, I want scale for image 1 to be 1. I'm working with scale here and not with the size, width and height, because as we discussed previously, scale and size are different. Scale changes width and height proportionally together at the same time. It means that the image will stay the same ratio between height and width as it was when it was big. When we're changing height and width, then we can change them separately. And it's much easier to make a mistake. So that's why it's better to work with something that fits best your animation. One thing also to keep in mind that here, when we're gonna to change something, we can change width and height separately, which means that if we want to recreate the same effect where the image becomes smaller with size, we will need to add 2 drivers here, width and height, while it's much easier to work with just, as you can see, with just scale. So that's why here we are. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through all these images and scale them one by one. Once it's appeared on the screen fully, we set the scale. This is our image. It's called image 3. Okay, I'm okay with that. Scale 1. Now this image started appearing. And what I want to do, I want, once the image appeared on the screen, this is where we will start our state A. Once the image fully was shown on the screen, this will be our state B. So that's why for this image, which is image 4, this will be our starting position for the scale. So that's why it will start somewhere here. And only somewhere here, it will be 1. Done. So now this image, it appeared on the screen. So that's why, where is that? It's image 2. How is it possible? This is, okay, I did it separately. So this will be our image 1. And for this image, it's not appeared on the screen yet. So that's why I need to scroll it up to here. And when it's here, it will be fully shown as scale 1. The next item, what is that? This image. So it appeared on the screen. It's fully shown, scale 1. The next image. It's here, appeared. fully shown. 1. And we will do with all the images one by one. So we are somewhere here. This is the image we are working with. Perfect. State B, 1. And the final one is somewhere here. Appeared. Oh, it appeared earlier. On this screen, this is position state A, and this is state B, which is scale 1. Perfect. Now this is what we created already. Let's take a look at this amazing website that we created. We're scrolling down. It's live now. It's not so boring as we had previously, where we'll just scroll down and that's it. Now these images appear one by one and jump to their position. And now we have this More button. And while we can continue doing all these steps one by one, now I want to show you one additional thing that you can also create in Principle. For this one, we don't need to have drivers. We will get back to them when we'll jump to the next sections. But as for now, let's start with something small like this one. Let's create additional magic. So we have this button here, More button, that consists of the text and the ellipse below. I want, when I hover on this button here, I want the ellipse become bigger, and when I'm outside of this ellipse, it becomes smaller. Simple hover effect. How to do that? While we are scrolling, because it seems like it's something inside of the animation While we are scrolling, we change all these elements. At the same time, we can interact with the elements within the animation. How to do that? It's possible. Principle, remember? So we select the group itself, select it, and here in Principle, you have Create Component button. Click on this button, and boom, you jump to another canvas. What is this canvas for? This is like a component in Figma or Adobe XD, or it can be a smart layer in Photoshop, if you're familiar with Photoshop. So it's additional artboard inside of the artboard. And inside of this one, we can create different animations inside of the previous animations. So what we can do here, and what we want to do here is super powerful. And trust me, once you understand this logic behind Principle, that you can create animations inside of the animations and inside of the animations, because even here inside of it, you can create additional component. So let's animate this component. On hover, when you click how to just animate anything, how to create these connections, I already showed you previously. We will discuss it mostly in mobile prototyping, but here I have to explain that. Let me show that. So once you selected just anything, you will see this icon here, and when you click on this icon, this dialog box appear on the screen. It appeared, and you can select what kind of event, what kind of trigger you want to choose for the animation. And in this case, I want on hover on the entire section, not entire section maybe. Yeah. When I hover on the entire section, on hover inside, as you can see, we don't have any artboards anymore. So what I'm going to point to, in Principle, you can point the trigger to the artboard itself, and it will create additional instance, which will be absolutely the same as the first one. So I clicked on that, and I hover on this position, so it changes the color. I click here, and the same instance appeared on the screen. You can see it here. More button 2. And while hovering, I'm going to select ellipse inside of this one, and I'm going to change scale to 105. I want it to make bigger. But as you can see, this layer doesn't have clip, it's not clipped, it's not clipped. So why we don't see this animation outside of the animation? Probably because it's hover inside of the group. So we need to create the group bigger. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna... Actually, we don't even need to care about that here, because when we'll go back to the previous one, we will need to show this ellipse, the bigger ellipse, in the previous animation, because we don't have these constraints set up. So on hover, scale to this 1.5 in 300 milliseconds. Perfect. On hover outside, it doesn't work like in Figma while hovering. It's not while hovering, it's when you hover on something, animate this. Once hovering outside, animate this. So that's why on hover outside, we are pointing back. So when we hover on this one, it will become bigger. When we're not hovering on this one, it becomes smaller. I'll show you a little bit later where we need to use only hover inside, but without outside. So we created this component. Now when we click back to parent, we have the same button here. Nothing changed, but the only thing that changed is absolutely different icon on the group itself. But let's take a look at on our preview. So we animated all these images here. I'm hovering and it becomes bigger. Hover, bigger. What's more important, even now inside of this group, I can point on top on the entire artboard. I can click and jump to absolutely different page. Or I can make this page even bigger because it's absolutely the same page. Nothing is happening. But what's interesting that now, while we have this effect here inside of the page, it becomes bigger. While I'm scrolling, I'm still scrolling. I can even scroll and hover on this button and it will become bigger. I can still interact with that and point this button to somewhere else, or even to this page. When I click on this page, I will show some more images. So this is exactly how it should work. I'm hovering out and it becomes smaller. This is how cool is that. Now let's get back to this section. Now we are ready when we are prepared. So we went through all this animation here. Actually, clients and managers and directors, CEOs love these kind of prototypes. Yeah, for some of you, it's also super crazy. For some, if you are super experienced, like what's here, actually, it's just animation, it's just prototype. Clients, CEOs, managers love this kind of prototypes because when they see that, it blows their mind, because you are a designer, but you created kind of real website, and they always ask, is it real? Is it real? Is it real? Wow, show it to me, show it to me. So this is how cool is that. And use it a lot, because the more wow you will hear, the more confident you will be in your skills, and the more money you will be able to charge, because the amount of money you can charge for your skills, for your work, depends on your confidence. Grow your confidence, and if you want to charge more, the easiest way to grow your confidence is to create more and more, practice more, to understand that you actually can present it to others, get all these wow effects, and start charging more. Now let's go back to this section here. So we are here. Let's go to drivers, so we will know exactly that we are on this element. Boom. So now I'm going to select this element. It's already created images, where we have 3 images inside, and we have slider, and inside of this slider we have preview and next button, and these 2 lines. Let's create from these images, let's create a component. Boom, we are on the separate layer where we have this previous, next. Previous, you don't see previous because the images here, the fill is transparent, and I want to keep it transparent because we have on that. Oh, you have it here. You have previous here. Now let's create the animation. What we're gonna do? I want this animated automatically, and while I'm clicking on the next button and previous one. How to do that? First of all, let's create this animation automatically. Auto. This is absolutely the same like in Figma after delay. I click here. After delay, nothing changed. We don't have these animations. Actually, to see this panel here, just simply click on this event line. We don't have anything because we haven't animated anything yet. But what I'm going to do, I'm going this image to disappear. I want to change the opacity to 0. And now I see that I can animate this. And I want to change the opacity. So the image will be in front of me. The first image will be in front of me for 1 second. 1 second. It means that I will start animation only in just 1 second. And then I need just to select just one side of it. And then in 300 milliseconds, disappear. How it works? Let's go from the very beginning to our preview. Press W to, yeah, 1 second, and then changed. In my opinion, it changed too fast, maybe 1 second. Let's renew. Boom, we showed another one. We can also animate this one with not ease in, ease out. Like default is similar to ease in out. Or we want it to start slow and then will be really fast in the end. So that's why we'll choose ease in. So that's why let's restart and take a look. Boom. Perfect. That's exactly how I want them to change. But at the same time, I want to change the position of this line, of this small line, to the middle of this one, because we changed the image. So I just need only one line. Thank you. I just need only this one. Thank you. And I know, what do I know? The position of it is X 53 pixels now, and I know that the entire line is 150 pixels. So if I want to move it to 100 pixels here in the X axis, sorry, I just need to click plus 150. Boom, done. Now I know that it's exactly in the middle of this item. How it works here, and actually I needed to show somewhere here in half a second. So it will, while the image will continue transforming, this line will already move to its state B. See here at the bottom, it moved. So in my opinion, yeah, maybe it's better to keep them together so it will be smoother. Perfect. Perfect. Exactly what I need. Maybe even we will do this and also ease in. Let's take a look. That's exactly what we need. We created that, but now I need to know exactly how. Yeah, like this one. Perfect. We created the very first state. Now let's create the second state. And the second will be to show the third image. So auto, done. In this case, this image goes away. 0. What I said 0. And yeah, we select the second image, we set to 0, and we show the third image. Perfect. We showed the third image, but at the same time, to be prepared for the next state where we will go from this image to this one, I will need to, what do I need? I will need just to make this image 100%, which is already created. Perfect. We don't need to do anything else here. But what we need to do is we need to move the position of this line to the very end. And to do that, plus 150. Done. Now, let's set the animation here. So we know that I need this image, image 2, to be on the screen for 1 second. So we are not animating, we are not doing anything for 1 second. And only then, after 1 second, we want to change the opacity from 100% to 0 in 1 second with ease in, and center X for this line with this animation. Now, when we will start, 1 second, second image, 1 second, third image. Perfect. Now let's go back to the first one. And to do that, we'll just click here, auto, to go back. Done, but too fast. Why? Because we have all these items here. And to do that, 1 second for that image to be there. The first image, which is this one, will appear in 1 second with ease in. And also this one, it doesn't matter how fast it disappears because we are showing this image first. And then also position Y for that bottom line with 1. So now changing, we have this drop. So how to avoid that drop? To avoid that drop, what we're gonna do is on this image, we will place the third image on top of everything, and instead of disappear, and for this image, which is at the bottom, we already create 100% what we created now. So now this image is already 100% here, and we need just to change the opacity of this image at the top. So I click here, go back, so we don't have this animation. So basically we recreated absolutely the same effect as we have in the previous state, for previous state. Now everything should be perfect. Second, what happened here? Oh, this image dropped, which means that we will need to set up for this one at the top on the second state, which is this one. This one will be, it can be at the bottom, it will be still here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the opacity immediately. Let's try to set it to frozen, and we'll see what will happen here. Immediately. Okay. That's not good, but it's great that it appeared here, because in this case I will be able to solve the problem right in front of you. What will move it even down here? Let's take a look at this one. And it's already the third one. Why it's happening so fast? So we are here. We are still here. Let's take a look at animate. We have this one. We animate this and show that image. Perfect. So now we are on this image, on the second one. Let's select this state. On the second state, the third image already appeared. It seems like for the second image with watches, opacity is 100%. For this one is 0. So we don't need to see this image yet. This one is 100%, 100%, 0, 100%, 100%, which is exactly what we need. But we see this animation here. What's happening? Let's move this one to here. Is anything changing? No. because our image 3, image 2, sometimes it can be even the lag of the principal itself. So maybe it's better to take a look at this one, to go back to parent and go back to component again. So we're still changing. Let's go to not create component. Yeah, if you want to edit, you can go back and click enter or return, or you can click create component and you will go to edit mode. You'll get back to the component itself. So let's go here and we'll see what's happening. The only thing that we changed is we changed the positioning of the elements. Let's change it back. So we will have everything at the same position. And now if it's not perfect, we will try to find the problem somewhere else. So this one should be third one, first one like this, like this, like this, and this one opacity is 0. Perfect. Everything is perfect now. Yeah, sometimes it can be just lack of principle, so you can just go back from the component to the parent one and then go back to the component itself. Now you can animate it as you want. For example, maybe you want to make it a little bit slower, not the changing the position, but you want to have the image to be shown for 2 seconds. For this one, for 2 seconds, and only after that change, because you can't even see the image in this small time frame. Boom. Boom. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. Let's go to parent component. And what's interesting, we created that component there, and now it's shown here on the page. And we can scroll, we can continue scrolling. And while we are scrolling, it's changing. So it's like developing the website, but without development at all. This is where you create motion, just motion effect. And this is what we created. The same way we can create hover effect, hover state for this button, for example. We can create just any other type of components, but let's continue with our page. And now let's animate. Remember this one? Amazing. Now let's animate this one. Oh, one more thing that we didn't discuss that. When I click next, I want to change it faster than when it's changing itself. So I go here, create component while it's selected. So now when I click next, I'm selecting next button. When I click on next, actually it was much bigger in my designs, but when it was converted into text, into image here, it removed all the parameters for text. So keep that in mind if you want to have a bigger area, clickable area for the text. Group it, add it to the group, into the frame actually, with a bigger size that you need. So here when I click on next, on tab, go to this position. And on tab, I want it to be exactly the same as that one, but really fast. Not like when I'm here, when I click, not on this one. Let's move this away from the bottom state. So when I'm here, when I click on next, I will hold 2 seconds and then only after that I will change. No, I want it to become immediately. I want it to be immediately. On top, only on top. While it's here, everything is perfect. Another thing that I want to do when I'm on the second image and on the third one, I want to change the fill, it's converted into the image. Yeah, there are some parameters that I don't like about principle, but still, if I actually need it to be perfect, so then I would recreate this text here inside of the principle and I would create text here, priv, that will be a little bit smaller, which will be 15, even 14. I would put it on the position of the previous text there. I will copy it. We'll set it here. We'll set it here. Now when we have text inside instead of the image, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this text to 0 in this case, or what I could do, I could change fill to this gray. So now I know that when it will go to the next position, it will change the color. And I'm going to do the same with next. And for this case, I will just copy text. It will be text 2. And for this text, I'll pick next. Done. And this next will be different from next. Here, the final next will be also gray. Oh yeah, I selected the image, and actually now we don't need to have these images here because we already converted everything into the text. Because it's final position, I will change its color to this one. Perfect. Now I have this, and I don't need the image. The same here. I don't need the image. Yes. And this one, yes. But I don't see preview here. So for here, preview and next, remove. Done. Now I have only text, right? No, this is not the text. Means that I removed something wrong. Perfect. Now when I set everything up, now when I tap on this next button, tap, go here, on tap, change all these elements, yes, like that. We can also change these parameters. We will do the same way. On tap, go here, and next up, move all these guys to the left. Click on previous tab, we'll go back. Tap here, we will go back and immediately. Yes. Let's move these guys to the right. And here, when we click on previous one, on tap, go to the previous one. This is exactly what I need. Perfect. Now let's take a look at the parameters. Yeah, it takes time. Really good animation takes time. This is what we need to understand. So we are changing all these elements. They go, it means that we broke something. But now when I click preview, we'll go to preview. Actually, let's go and fix that broken parameter. Create, it means that here I probably selected, yeah. Here was the problem. On all the auto should stay in 2 seconds. All the tap should be fast immediately. Tap, auto, here as well. In 2 seconds. They work together. So yeah, at least we created this component, but we will not be able to separate them together because we created the same event. If you want to make them really separate, in this case, we will need to create absolutely different event for these elements. But we can go to the next state, click, and we will go to the previous position. So next, let's go here. Let's fix our cases with auto. and it will be much better to have just auto in this case rather than to click. So now in the show, everything should be perfect. We have our image, the next one, the next one, perfect, the next. And we go here and previous. Yeah, then you need to play with all these parameters, but you got the idea that you can create a component animation inside of the scrollable element. And this is super powerful. We created so many cool features already. It takes time, yes, but if you're following me, if you're following all these directions, it will be super helpful for you to recreate all these elements and to animate absolutely anything page. Because what I'm going to show you in this particular video, in this particular lesson, while it's really long, that you can create almost, not almost, but absolutely any landing page with animation. Let's go to our testimonials. We'll create it really fast because for testimonials, we already know what we want to do. So this is our testimonial section. We create a component out of it. We already have all these items. Now we want to select this arrow here. How to do that while everything is there. So here our arrow 1. And when I click on this arrow, I want to go on tab, go to the next testimonial. In the next testimonial, what I want to see, I want to user 2 and quote 2 to set to its position, while user 1 and quote 1 to go away and disappear. We changed opacity to 0 and we also changed position. When I click on that, opacity to 0 and we also changed position. What else I'm going to do? Of course, I need to, for the first state, for the state A, I need this testimonial to disappear. So the position is already changed. The only thing that we need to change is opacity. Now when we created that, when I click on this arrow, it changed to the second state. But also on the click back, when I click on the previous, I want to go back to the first testimonial. Simple, smooth, really fast, just component that we created here. Now let's take a look at the parent component, to the parent website. So now I'm the parent, I'm scrolling this, I'm scrolling the entire website. We have all these amazing images. You can play with them, hover state, perfect. Now I'm in this position, I click next, and I'm switching inside of the scrollable website. I'm switching the states. It's unbelievable. This is the power of Principle. Guys, still follow me. We are heading to the next section where we are not going to animate anything here. And keep in mind that it's better to animate not every section, but the section, every other section, or even less. Because in this case, you create this dynamic of the website, and sometimes it looks absolutely predictable, and sometimes it's not so predictable, like with these images. So we had everything, boom, these elements appeared, then we're just scrolling, nothing happened. Then again, live section, we edit live to this element, the website doesn't look boring. And then we, oh wow, cool. Then we go here, everything is on its position, but we can interact with these elements, perfect. Then everything stays on this position, which makes us like come down, everything is cool. Now let's animate this one. And for this animation, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to our drivers. I'm going to select this image. I will put it into the group because I'm going to clip this image. Clip layers. I'm doing the same stuff with images to show you different, so you will exactly remember what's happening, what I'm doing. So while I'm here, and to achieve this point, it should be shown here in this green rectangle. When I'm here, I want this image to be different. This will be our state A. But when I'm here, I want it to be already state B. And state B will be exactly as it is. But for this one, for this image inside of this group, I want to change scale and I want to change angle, which is rotation. This will be our state B, ideal one. State A will start somewhere here. And for state A, the scale will be 2 and the angle will be somewhere -60. What we just created. Let's take a look at our preview. I'm scrolling down. And as you can see, this bicycle appears on the screen. But I don't like this angle here, so that's what I'm going to do is at the same time, it doesn't mean that I can animate only scale. I can also animate the position. So maybe we will change the Y from here, and the final one will be on its position itself. Show preview. Now we have that corner yet, but what we're gonna do is for the state A, we'll make it even bigger. We'll make it 2.5, like this, perfect. So now when I'm scrolling, this bicycle appears on the screen. Awesome. It looks natural, it looks live, it looks perfect, it looks wow. So now let's create hover effect for these arrows. We know already everything that we need to know, but I want to show you all the states at once. So by watching just one video, this masterclass, you will understand all the power of Printable and you will be able to use it for any landing page, any website that you are creating. Because this will make you confident and this will allow you to become better at your job, become better as a freelancer, become better in the eyes of your manager or your client. So just follow these steps. So we have this button, create component, what it can be, of course. And I want to create on hover inside. What I'm going to do is for this hover inside, I have this play. And this play is inside of these icons. Inside of these icons, which is clip sublayer. But I want to clip this one and I want to duplicate this rectangle and to move this rectangle away. So now we have two rectangles. One is here and another one is this one. Now I'm going to do the same here. Clip sublayers, duplicate this one, but in this case I will move the first triangle away to the right. So now we have first one here and second here, while this one, first one here and the second is somewhere here. And this is on hover. And hover outside, it gets back. And now, as you can see, this is what's happening on hover on this button. Cool, right? Awesome. What else we can do also? So also to stretch your creativity and possibilities here in Printable, just simply select these items when we are going back from this state, when we are hovering outside. I don't want the arrows to go back. I want always, when I'm hovering, the arrow will always go only in one position. I'll just select these items and we'll move them here to 0. So on our way back, we are not animating this back position. And as you can see now, when I'm hovering outside, the animation is happening, but you don't see that because it's happening even in less than 1 millisecond. And now it means that this animation will always be only when I'm hovering. It will change its position only in one way. Because in this case, we are attracting to go there to get started rather than to go back. Get started, get started. But at the same time, remember, we animated this one, boom, and now we animate this. Now let's create this effect that we had on Apple website. Probably you already know how to create that, right? let's think together, because before we create this effect, let's think about it, let's talk about it, and you will probably already understood how to do that. When I will start scrolling here, I want this mask that we created on top of the text to move, to change its center X position. It will move away, it will move just right. We will show the text, but at the same time, we will move the phone a little bit faster than the text. The text will stay on its position, but the phone will move inside of the section. We will change X position for the phone, Y position for the phone, X position for the mask, and that's it. Let's do that. Let's go here. Let's bring this phone here. And what we gonna do is, starting from here, we will start revealing the text. To do that, we will select the mask. And for the mask, we will select center X to change from here. So when I'm somewhere, even here, you will just go away to the right. And I'm just using arrows where it will go away. It's gone. So now I will reveal this text here. Let's take a look at the preview, how it works on the preview mode. So I'm scrolling down and the text appears. Perfect. That's exactly what we saw on the iPhone 12 Pro website. But now I also want to move the phone, which is here. And the phone goes out of the screen. We have this group here, Apple section, clip sublayers, and we have phone inside of it, but because it's group clipped, masked, so we can move the phone itself. On this position also, when we will start revealing the text, we will start also moving the Y position of the phone. And when we will move somewhere to here, when it will already started disappearing, the phone will be on top of the text. And even when it will disappear somewhere here, up to somewhere here. Perfect. So now let's take a look what's happening. I'm scrolling down and the phone is moving and it goes on top of the text. And now what we have everything that we need inside of this one. We have mask and we have the phone goes on top of the text. Now let's create this circle reveal and also rotation, what we had on Google website. So we have these items here. We're going to change their angle, rotation, and also we're going to change the scale of the circle, which is behind all these items. To do that, we are scrolling inside of this section, starting somewhere from here. We'll change the angle of these two watches. So for this one, we will change angle. For this one, we will change angle. And for ellipse, we will change scale. Perfect. This will be our state B actually. So when I'm here, no, this was our state A. So this is our state A, and actually it will start somewhere from here then. Okay, now state B will be somewhere on this position. On state B, for this phone, which is on the top, I want the angle to be like maybe 12 degrees. Awesome. For also, I'm thinking to change for this one also the center X. And it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means that in the state A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So we change the angle for this one. We will change the angle for these watches here, minus 12 to here. And I'm going also to change center X, which will be our state B, we'll go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we don't see the second watches until we start scrolling. And of course, scale of our ellipse, which is at the bottom. In the state B, the scale will be 4. Why not? Love it. And actually, I will continue increasing the size of the scale, the circle, up to this position, and it will be even 8. So it will fill the entire section. Let's take a look at the preview. I'm scrolling down. We have these 2 watches appears, and it continues moving. We can even continue moving these phones as these watches as well, but it's up to you. It depends on you. But this is how we created all these live effects inside of just one page using just drivers here. Once you understood this animation type, you will be able to animate absolutely everything. And if you're working with Webflow, for example, you will understand how this exactly works. And as you can see, we are following absolutely the same principles that we described in the module 1, where we talked about rotation, position, scale, opacity. We understood state A, state B, transition, trigger. So all these things applied here. So once you understood the fundamentals, now you understand how this actually works. Let's go to the final section where we'll have this video in this case. So we have here, we have the image that we created by design. We have this rectangle, and also we have this group, and everything is inside of this section, which is clip sublayers. Perfect, amazing, awesome. But what are we gonna do? We're gonna first of all change this image to the video. And opacity of this image is 40. Let's change it to 100%. Click here on the media, choose media, and find somewhere on your computer, download it, record it if you want, just anywhere, take the video you want and open it. And you will see this video here inside of your website. It's already mind-blowing because there are no other programs that allow you to do that. In principle, it's already video and it's already playing. You can set the pause here in media when you click. You can loop forever, play just once, playing, paused. Playing means that while it's on the website, it will always playable. And also you can change the volume of this video and time, on which position, starting from which position the video will start playing, and also you will be able to animate that later. I'll show you. Yes, you can animate all these parameters here. So starting from here, what are we gonna do? For this group, we're gonna make clip sublayers. We're gonna make it really small, not like 0, but really small. But moreover, we will move this line on top of this video. Our group should be the size of the line, which is 2 pixels, just smaller, bigger. Boom, done. And this is our line. And while the line is here, it will move and it will become bigger, and then it will start revealing. So while it's here, the video will be on the background and it will be 0. The opacity of this video will be 0. But to do that, first of all, we'll need to understand where is our position 1 and position 2, position A and B. Let's scroll back. Started somewhere, let's move closer. Started somewhere from here. We need this line to fill the entire screen. What do we need to do that? Rectangle, width. And the width will move from here to the very end. We will do that in just in a second, but also for the video, what did I say? Oh, so for this one, If you need to remove the entire line that you just created, click here, close. If you need just to remove one item, one keyframe, click here. If you need to remove the entire line, click on this X. Let's select the rectangle. For the rectangle, we will change width. For the video, we will change opacity. The opacity here for the video will be 0. We don't see the video, but we see the line. And for the line, when we are scrolling somewhere here, I want the line to be at the very end of this screen. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna change the width of this line, not this one, to 140. Boom, done. Fully done. One more thing, I'm going, starting from this position, for this line, I'm going to change its opacity from here. And also the opacity for the video here. It was 0. And for the line, the opacity was 100%. In the next line, one more thing that we will do for all these items, we will change for both of them, for the entire group even, we will change the center Y. Why do we need that? We need this line to stay on the same position. Remember, 286. And when we will be somewhere, you know, it's not even for this group, but for the video itself, for the next section and for the next footer, we need to set center Y, so it will stay, they will stay on their positions. So when we will start scrolling up to here, all these our elements will stay in their position somewhere here. This is just for playing purposes. It will not be ideal, I already see that, but you will understand the main idea. Still moving down. We need to reach the position when this element is not moving down. And not moving up. I think it's perfect. One more thing that I'm going to do is, for this Google section, I will do the same. Y here. Hey Google, come back. Now it will be ideal. So when we are scrolling, we continue scrolling, boom, and only after that we'll continue scrolling again. So we recreated the situation where everything will stay in the same position while we'll continue scrolling from here to here. Now what we're gonna do is, in the next, not starting from here, just in the next couple of pixels, in this case because we are scrolling with pixels, we'll change the opacity of this rectangle to 0, and for the video opacity to 100%. And we will actually even change the opacity of the video a little bit earlier, somewhere from here. So we'll continue scrolling, and boom, we will have the video appeared on the screen. But at the same time, starting from this point, we're gonna change this our group. We're gonna change the height of our group. How we're gonna do that? We will click here, height, and when we are continue scrolling up to here, perfect. The height of the group will be this one, the full size. But at the same time, as you can see, we need to change for our group the Y position. When you are working on something really cool, super amazing, it takes a little bit more time. So Y position, we're gonna change. We don't want to move it like in both. Oh, no, not for the group, but for the video. When we're here, group, the video center Y, we already set it up. It's already there, right? So center Y for the video, which is inside of this one, will move up as well, or down in this case. Let's take a look. Okay, so it should move down. So we'll need to reveal that the video is moving from the center, and a little bit more. Too much, like this one. So it was our video somewhere here, and boom, it appeared on the screen. At the same time, what we're gonna do while we're scrolling from here, starting somewhere in the middle, the video, what we'll create for this video? The group will change its width, scale, and angles. No, actually, I don't want to overwhelm you. What this video will change is actually the radius we already have. It will change scale. Starting from somewhere here, it will start changing scale. It will become smaller. So change scale from 1 to really smaller one, like 0.5. No, 0.8 or 7, like this one. Perfect. So now when we are scrolling, we showed the video, and now we started moving. Maybe we can even from here, we will keep, yeah, perfect. We'll continue scrolling and it will go smaller while continue playing. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size of the group. So we will see these rounded corners. Yeah, this one. And round corners 40. So it will be more visible for you. Perfect. So now when we are scrolling, boom, done. We showed the video. Perfect. And then starting after that point, we can even move it up to here. Starting from this point, we'll continue scrolling. Let's take a look at the real example here. Let's make it bigger. So now we have this video here, not video animation. We are scrolling down, and then when we are on this position, our line disappeared somewhere, but you got the point. So you just animate the line because it will take too much time to go back and forth. So as you can see, if the video is playing, we stopped on one particular position. I'm continue scrolling, and we are revealing the video, and we are changing the position of this video, and we continue scrolling to the very end of the website. This is how cool is that. And as you can see here, one more thing, always keep the details in mind. Because we changed the elements, starting from this position, our navigation goes away. It went away. It means that we will need to bring it back for here, because now our page became a little bit longer. This is what you need to keep in mind to do. But the final thing that I want to show you, that you can also change the position of other elements while scrolling. So when we are here, when we are somewhere, yeah, let's imagine somewhere here, we can select all these elements here, and we can set for them center Y. And when you continue scrolling all this website, the entire website up to here, even up to the very end, these elements will change their position. So these guys will move up, and these ones will move up to somewhere here. This will move a little bit faster, while these three will move down, like this one. So now when you will scroll, as you can see, they will change their position, and you will reach the very end of the website. Now let's take a look at the preview. This is what's happening. So we just showed how to create all these elements, all these components, all these crazy animations in just one video. I tried to explain everything super clearly. Yes, the video is long, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure that you learned a lot, and now you're able to create all these cool elements. And you can create even more. You can animate this circle on the background, because now you have file and you can play with it. You can do whatever you want. And you know what? Even I will send you the file to this particular principal file, so you will be able to take a look how it's done, what parameters I used, what elements we had, what elements we animated with what values. So all these things you will have, but first of all, try to understand all the principles and create it yourself. The video about mobile apps will be divided into several parts, because when I started recording it, it was also really long, but also I realized that it will be hard for you to explain all these small details, and they're really, while the animations is easier themselves, but because we have so many screens, so many small interactions, it's harder to follow rather than here when we're using just one scroll, and we can move all these things together. For mobile, it will be easier. So that's why mobile videos will come like one by one. So you will learn them step by step. But as for now, you can start playing, training with landing pages. Let me know what you think about it in the reviews, in the feedback to this masterclass, or into DMs, into email, just anywhere, because I want to know your reaction, your feeling, your ideas, your thoughts about this powerful tool and about these powerful techniques that I showed you today. Also, as a bonus video, I will show you later, but I'll show you how to create horizontal scrolling with parallax effect, and also I'll show you another bonus video. Yes, you will have two bonus videos with super parallax, which means that where we're changing perspective of the video, not of the video, the perspective of the plans, where we have background, foreground, and something in the middle, super cool effect. And another bonus video will be horizontal scrolling with parallax, similar to what Apple had for the iPad video. Enjoy it and practice. Remember, the most important, observation and practice. I showed you how to create anything. With these techniques, you can create any landing page animations, any landing page prototype. When you go to Apple, you will see that, damn, I can create anything from this website now. And only from that website, now I can create my personal landing pages, my personal landing page prototypes, and impress my clients with these cool, super powerful animations. I will grow my confidence and I will start charging more and making more money. Stay happy, stay tuned. See you in the next lesson where I'll be talking about mobile animations first, step by step, video by video. And after that, we'll be talking about bonus sections and how to export your works for Dribbble, Behance, Portfolio, just for anything from here, from Printable. Have a great day.